getting into what we're going to talk about tonight. I need a volunteer first. Wait, you have to love chocolate. Not just like chocolate, but love chocolate. Okay, I knew this was going to happen. All right, I have a number behind my back. Lori's going to see it. It is 1 through 10. We'll go for it. And I'll just go down the line, and if somebody guesses it, they get it. All right, Isaac, what do you got? 4. No.
7.
No.
6.
No.
3.
Oh, 3. Kelsey, you're the winner. All right, sorry, I didn't get to you guys. Sorry. Okay, you're the winner. Come on up, Kelsey. Here's the deal. All right, what I want you to do here.
Oh no, you're not gonna get any.
No. You're not gonna have to eat it right now. Okay, but let's first of all hold out one hand. I want to see how many of these you can hold with one hand. Get as many as you can. That's okay. It's actually going to help my. Oh, is that about it? Can you get any more?
I think that one on the ground.
No, we'll get to that one in a minute. Okay.
Wait, I think I get the one on the ground.
That's all right. That's all right. Okay. Well, let's do this. Why don't you cup both hands? Let's do 2 hands. See how many we can do with both hands. Okay. Oh, well, no, I'm sorry. That was my fault. My bad. Okay. Now here's the deal. There's a rule. There's rules. It's that bowl sitting back there. See that bowl? That ceramic bowl back there. Okay. Here's the deal. You can have everything that you are able to carry, that you're able to get back to the bowl, that doesn't hit the ground. If it hits the ground, you don't get it.
I don't have to worry about it.
You don't have to. Yep, so everything, if it hits the ground, you don't get it. That's just the rules of this game. Wait, there's one more thing. Okay, I know, one more thing. This is just if you want it, you don't have to take this part, okay? Inside here, $50. There's 2 20s in the 10, okay? So, if you're able to get that money and these things back to that bowl, whatever you're able to get without dropping, if it drops out of your hand, you don't get it. Whatever you're able to get back to the bowl, you can have. That or the money, but you only get 1 trip. I mean, you can take the money too if you want to just reach in there and get it. You can.
Is this like a trick question?
Wait. Okay. Hold on. Oh, yeah, what's that? Wait.
I want to do it.
Yeah, I want to do it. Drop it.
Well, do you want to try? I mean, if you just want the.
So you just drop one.
I mean, if you want to go, you can get the. Okay. Do you guys want to notice what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. All you need to you can get it. You can just take the money out with that, with the chocolate. Go back there. Whatever you're able to get in your hands, you can have. But you only get 1 trip.
So I can try taking the money too.
You can if you want. Yeah.
You can put some candy down too.
I just drop all the candy.
Yeah.
Where do you want
Well, whatever you want to do. You drop. What can you get? What can you get? Yeah, go ahead. You can try whatever you want. But if you drop it, you don't get it. So.
How am I supposed to grab that out of there with all this?
Oh my God.
Here's the question: how is she supposed to do it in her hand? Yes?
Oh, I can
You
drop
have to
it.
keep the chocolate in your hand?
Do I have to?
She doesn't have to. You don't have to do anything you want to.
He said it.
You can just take the chocolate and run it. Well, you can just take the chocolate and go.
He said if it hits the floor.
Let me go!
Lexi, what's it?
You can drop one hand, have chocolate, and one hand take the money and then go. So you have chocolate and.
Kelsey, I have an idea.
Yeah.
Listen to me. Shh. Wait, don't drop it yet.
Wait, listen.
Set it on the table because it has to touch the floor in order for you to not.
No, it dropped out of her hand. It drops out of her hand.
Wait, you said if it hits the floor.
You get over it.
She doesn't get the garbage can.
Oh, and did y'all get all grab the money? I'm so confused.
Alright. One of these guys wants to try. Okay, I need you to put the money back in the thing. I'm actually going to keep the money, sorry. I know. Okay, wait, we got one of Isaac, you want to try it?
Yeah.
I'll let you both. Come on, hold up here. What do you want me to do? We'll go one at a time, alright? Can you get you more candy in? Alright. There we go. Now anything you drop, you don't get. Look at that. Awesome. Okay. You're not gonna get that's right. Okay.
Shame.
Okay. Thank you for playing. You can bring that back up here. I'm going to let you all have the chocolate. However, the money stays because that's going to be going to charity water on our kids. Now, but there was an illustration here. Actually, why don't you... Yeah, if you want, or you can take it.
Like churches.
That was all. I was like, I had no.
Okay, pass it around now. Okay, why don't we just pass the bowl around gently? I want to keep your focus here so we can keep moving. Did we lose a clock? Didn't there used to be a clock up there? Yeah. I used to rely on that clock. It's 8 o'clock. So, all right. Okay, listen up, everybody. What, in order to take, now we all love chocolate, right? Or most of us do, right? So Lexi wanted to keep as much chocolate as she could, right? But then there was also the option of money. And which one did she ultimately want more?
Money.
Money. It's a good idea. Yeah, you're right. Because you could have, if you wanted this chocolate, you could have taken the $50, gone and spent $10 on the chocolate, and then you still had $40. So that was a good choice. Kelsey was very smart in doing that. But in order to get the money, what ultimately did she have to do? Yes.
Get rid of the chocolate.
She had to get rid of this chocolate. I heard something else here too. Sacrifice. Did you know I was going to talk about sacrifice tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because it was the title of the thing up there, didn't it? Okay. What we just demonstrated here was called sacrifice. All right, let me just throw this definition of sacrifice at you. To sacrifice is to surrender. Anyone heard that word recently? To surrender something for the sake of something else, or to surrender something of value to gain something more desirable or prevent some sort of evil. Okay, so what we demonstrated was sacrifice. In other words, it's giving up something, and it might be something of value, to get something even more valuable. Or maybe to prevent some sort of evil. Like when a nation is attacked by another nation, a lot of soldiers will go and they will sacrifice themselves to keep their people from being taken over by another nation. They don't want that to happen. That's evil. Or maybe a family's being attacked, and the dad will go out and defend the family because he doesn't want harm to come to his family. So sometimes you have to sacrifice. Now, in our culture, in America, the movies we watch, typically, like a typical superhero movie, like one like The Avengers would be a great example of this. We'll see a lot of heroism. Typically what will happen is, if I was going to write a superhero movie, it'd be like this. Superhero gets in trouble, or maybe like some innocent people get taken hostage, right? By this evil person, and they're trapped in this building. And the superhero goes in, and he's going to get in a situation where it looks like he's going to die. But then eventually he gets out of that, he rescues the people, he kills the bad guy, and the story's over. No one of consequence in the movie, no significant character died. A perfect example would be The Avengers. Now some of you might say, oh, I knew this was coming, bring it on.
What? No, I was going to say, Iron Legend isn't like that. At the end he kills himself so the people can get away.
You're right. They're not all like that. But a lot of them, Avengers are one. Some of you might say, oh, but what about Agent Coulson? Remember Agent Coulson in the movie? I'm gonna spoil this one for you.
Oh yeah.
He's not dead. What? Really? He's not? It's obvious he's not. He'll be back. They always come back. So trust me on that. We never saw a dead body at the end, did we? No, we didn't. Okay. Yes.
I think the better ones that show the sacrifice is actually World War II movies.
Yep.
Still show a little bit more sacrifice than some superhero movies do.
No, you're right. Not all of them, but I'm saying there's a lot of them. Like there was actually, I don't even remember what movie it was, but Sarah and I were watching one a while back. I don't know if it was some movie where the heroes, going in and rescue people. Like, oh, she's like, and something scary happens. Like, oh no, what's gonna happen? I'm like, what's gonna happen? It's a typical American thriller. The guy's gonna go in. It's gonna look like he's gonna die, but then he'll come out, rescue everybody, kill the bad guy, and everyone ends happy. It's like it's not. It's just it's obvious. You don't remember that, do you?
I do.
Do you? Do you remember what movie it was?
Yeah.
No, we'll figure it out later. All right. I don't want to get sidetracked. We're already way behind schedule already, so yeah.
If it's going to be a story like that, I like it when the hero is the unlikely hero.
The unlikely hero. Yes, okay. Yep, and it's okay, happy endings. The point is, I'm not saying those movies are bad. I'm just saying that's typically what happens, but it doesn't portray reality very much. Yes?
The Boys in Striped Pajamas.
That's a good book.
Okay, Sarah and I were watching a movie earlier this week, and it was a couple weeks ago, and it really started me thinking about this idea of sacrifice. It was called The Flowers of War with Christian Bale. Definitely, if you haven't seen the movie, awesome movie. Great movie. I don't remember if it was rated R. It might have been a little violent. Yeah, it was. It was a little brutal at some points. So, if your parents don't let you watch rated R movies, wait till you're older. But it was a great movie. And here's the deal. I'm going to just paraphrase it really simply and kind of probably change a few things just to get you the point. But there's this group of young. The Japanese had invaded China and they were killing, like brutally killing everyone. And was that World War II? No,
World War II.
It was World War II. Yes, because it was before Hiroshima, the dropped bomb. What's that? Yes, you are correct. Anyway, when I paraphrase the story, there's a bunch of girls kind of hiding out in this church, in this Catholic church. And anyway, the Chinese find out, or the Japanese find out they're there, and they're going to come and basically end up killing them all. Anyway, they find a way to escape, and I'm going to leave out a lot of details, but I'm going to make the point. They realize this, though. There is a way that they can escape, but only half of them can. Half of them have to stay behind as a distraction to the Japanese soldiers, while the others get away. There's no other way to do it. If you see the movie, you'd understand why. So, half of them have to decide who are going to stay behind as the sacrifice. They will die as the rest get away. And there's this scene as they're separating ways. The one girls are sneaking off, the others are staying, and it's like the reality hits. They will never see them again. In a few hours, all their friends will be dead, and they will have done it so the other ones could get away. And it was just this. It's like, no, there's got to be a way that they can all get out, but there wasn't. And it was just a movie, and it just demonstrated what sacrifice is. And that's probably more a picture of reality. It was just a powerful movie, and it was just like, it was amazing, but it's a true picture of sacrifice. But that's what life is. Nothing good in life ever comes without sacrifice. I'll get to some of the stuff in a minute. But that's reality. The superhero movies, they're fun to watch. Unfortunately, life really isn't like that. The freedoms we have today came from some people giving their lives in sacrifice. A few weeks ago, my dad shared about one of the World War II veterans and what he went through as a soldier for us. And ultimately, we defended ourselves, but also we were defending countries like China and that from these soldiers. Yes?
I'd like any green screen or stuff all of our sleeping bags, so it's like a little sleeping spill.
Yes, well, and that would be, that's typically how a movie is. We're able to, with technology, figure out some way to do it, but reality doesn't always work out that way. Yeah. Was there another? No. Okay. You good? Okay. Yes?
Did they actually end up dying?
They did. You never got to see any of it. They just were kind of, the soldiers were coming in as the other ones were escaping, and you never really got to see what happened. It was just one of those things you're just left with.
Yeah.
It's terrible, but I mean the cool thing. What a beautiful picture of sacrifice, Yes.
Like the ending to Where the Red Fern Grows, it's so sad.
Yep.
Those dogs will never be there again.
Yep. Okay. I want to move on. Okay. Things that require sacrifice in life. Marriage. If you're ever going to get married, there's some sacrifice that happens. I know I talk a lot about marriage. It's okay. Marriage is one of the most clear pictures we have of what God's relationship with us is like. So it's a great thing for describing our relationship with God. Marriage. If somebody wants to get married, they have to sacrifice being single for the rest of their life. They now, every time they're going to do something, they have another person who might have an opinion about it or might have the say to overrule that. You can't just go and do whatever you want to, because now you have someone else that you're taking care of, and then eventually little ones come along, and all of a sudden you have no more free time anymore. This house I used to have to myself as a bachelor, all of a sudden it belongs to a lot of other people, and I'm having to share it because I'm the whatever. I'm the hero of the house. I make the sacrifices for everybody, I guess. I don't know. Okay, health. If you want to be healthy in life, we find out, doctors, nutritionists will say, sacrifice your time and energy, work out, and eat healthy. It's the best, the most likely way to be healthy is to say no to junk food and say yes to carrots and spinach and flaxseed and black beans. So good for you. And eat your chicken and tuna instead of your steaks and hot hamburgers and all that. And eat healthy. Well, it's all right in moderation. In moderation, and don't smoke and don't do drugs and don't drink excessively and all those things. If you want to be healthy, you got to know how to say. Okay. All right. Okay. Freedom. Hey, let's say a few more moves. Freedom. To experience the freedom. Experience the freedom. Experience the freedom. We have today. A lot of people have had to sacrifice, and you never know. A day may come where America may go to war, and these young men because I am pretty much getting past the age of being drafted anymore, although there still is the possibility at my age. But these young men may have to, or some of them may choose to, sacrifice themselves for freedom. And you know, I shouldn't say that because, you know, some of you young ladies may have the opportunity to go as well. Do ladies have to register for the draft? Don't have to, right?
I think you can register.
You can, but women don't have to. But
I don't think it's mandatory.
have any of you guys had to register for the draft yet?
I've been asked to.
What's
Is that, maybe they don't do that anymore. That was wow, really? Oh, when I was in, okay, that wasn't really that long ago. It was like 5 or 6 years ago or something, or 15 or 16 years ago. I had to when I turned 18. I had to fill out this card, register myself for the draft, and to send in to. If I didn't do it, it'd be a federal offense. I could be put in prison for not doing it. I had to register. So if our nation went to war, they needed to draft young men. My name was there. They could call my name to go to war. You might be right, and maybe they might not have it anymore. I guess I'd forgotten about it. Okay. They maybe don't. Okay, so you never know. All right. Okay, in America, however, in America, we don't like to go without anything. Actually, the word sacrifice, I think most of us really think that ultimately sacrifice is un-American, right? I mean, when it comes to things like buying things. In America, you don't actually have to have the money. And far be it from an American to ever have to work and then pay for that car or maybe pay for that education. You can get the money, you can get a loan, or you can get a credit card so you can buy it now. You don't need to sacrifice. You're an American, you should never go without anything you want. Okay? You're an American. You never should. And so we allow us in America to buy things that we don't have the money for. We'll pay for it later, but that's kind of a trick. You're not supposed to know that. Okay, and you know what? As Americans, you should never, if you want to be in shape and physically fit, you should never have to work out and eat right for it. You can just simply take some diet pills. Eat whatever you want and just take the pills. They're great for you. They're so good for you. Yeah. You know? All right, and then there's other things like, and then, of course, as an American, you never need to wait for marriage to have sex. I mean, that is just ridiculous. You can just, look at this. You can just respect, protect, and connect right now. Right? Forget, you know those connection problems we talked about last week? Problem solved. Right there. That right there. It's that disconnection from God. It's that little rubber thing that fixes the problems. There you go. Okay. All right. So in America, we do not like to sacrifice. We do not like to go without. Okay? But what happens if we try to take this approach to God? Can we get like our faith on credit? Can I get like my salvation now without like making any real commitments here? No. Or maybe can I get some benefits early, from God, like without giving, a commitment to it? Can we with God? Is there an easy way to God? Let me just throw it out there. Do you think, is there an easy way to God, to get on the right page to God? Anyone want to talk about it? Yes?
Simple, but it requires effort.
Simple, but it requires effort. Okay, way to put it. Lexi, you were going to say something? No? There's just no? Okay. Do you think, and I'll also ask this, do you ever see people trying to take an easy way with God?
Yeah.
How so? Explain what you've seen or what you've observed. And if you want to give a story from your own life, but talking to third person like someone else, feel free. I don't care. I don't need to know.
But, I don't know, maybe because when I was getting baptized this summer,
Okay.
before your dad was saying that there was fans and followers.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, would a fan be?
Uh-huh. That would be. All his messages were talking about how people take the easy way. And if anybody wants a great book to read, I have a book back there called Not a Fan. My dad actually didn't read that before he spoke his messages, but so much of the stuff he spoke on out of there. Get the book. There's a teen version back there. I think it's $10. Such a great read if you want to be challenged in your walk with the Lord. Yes?
I see people taking the easy road by saying that they're Christian, but never really going to church. Or if they do go to church, they don't follow by the command.
Okay. Yeah, so people say maybe try to get in, maybe do a few things, maybe go to church, maybe say a prayer or something, but there's no real lifestyle change. Is that what you're kind of saying? Okay. Anyone else seen ways that people try to take an easy shortcut with God? Yeah, Shauna?
I've heard people they'll sin, and they'll be like, oh, well, God will forgive me.
Yeah, that's pretty convenient, don't you think? I mean, I think there's truth in that. But the attitude behind it might be kind of taking the easy way, you know? Oh, no big deal. No, I cheated on my wife last week, but it's cool. She'll forgive me. What if that was the attitude I took with her? How many of you guys would be like, oh, that's cool. Jeremy's a cool guy. I'll still listen to him. Yeah. You know, I might, you know, hey, the reality is I'm probably going to do it again tomorrow. But, you know, it's cool. She'll forgive me. God forgives me. Yeah. That easy way to work? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. You know. No, just kidding. All right, Nathan, you have something to say?
Some of my friends get confirmated, and they say that's confirmated, and they say
confirmation.
Yep.
Okay.
And they say, I'm good.
Yep. Now, confirmation isn't a bad thing, but some people can take it like, I've been confirmed, I'm saved now, I'm good, God and I are cool, whatever, you know, I'm done with that. That's right. That's the way a lot of times it gets treated. You're right. Yes.
Or some people like really live for God, but then after a while they just don't. And they're like, well, I'll still get to heaven because I did.
Yep. Anybody ever heard? Was there some hand over here? Anyone ever? Yes.
Or like, so that, oh, I believe in God, so I don't have to worry about going to heaven.
Yep, I believe in God. Yep. And then there's the scripture in the Bible says, yeah, you do believe in God, but so do demons. And they're scared of him. Maybe you should be too. It is. And James, you're right. Okay, and then anyone ever heard this? Let's see this. I believe that one of Satan's greatest temptations in life is for us to get something that costs us nothing.
A ticket to hell.
What's that?
I said a ticket to hell.
A ticket to hell, there you go. Try to get something. I believe that Satan really tries to tempt us to get something that costs nothing. I think, you know, Adam and Eve, God created them in His image to be like Him. Satan came along and says, you can get everything that God promised if you just eat the apple. Oh, really? Well, cool, let's do that then. You know, that doesn't cost them anything. Well, that's easy. Let's just eat the apple then. You know, the apples are free. Yeah.
I just thought of something.
You thought of something, all right.
So when they like laugh and joke about obscene things,
yep.
But they say they're Christian.
Right, absolutely. It's not. It doesn't line up. You're right. Okay. Satan tempts us to look for easy ways when it comes to faith. He tries to get us to do the bare minimum. Or, have anyone ever heard this statement? And I'm not saying the statement in itself is bad, but I think it gives the wrong impression. I asked Jesus into my heart. Anybody ever heard that before? Anyone say that? I asked Jesus into my heart. Okay. Now, does anybody know where in the Bible that statement is found? Where they say all you need to do is ask Jesus into your heart. It's actually not in the Bible. But so many Christians, that's what they say. And I'll just give you an example. I was talking with a young man years ago. And I was asking him about, you know, does he ever think about God? Ever think about what happens when he dies and all that? And he said, yeah. He said, well, not really. I don't think about it much anymore. I said, well, do you know what's going to happen when you die? And yep. He said, yep, I'm going to heaven. I said, really? How do you know that? And he said, well, a few years ago, I prayed with, I can't remember if it was a pastor or whoever, and I asked Jesus into my heart. And I knew the guy, and I'm not going to judge him, but from his lifestyle, I would have never known he was a follower of God or that he believed in Jesus. And his lifestyle lived one way, but then he told me he'd asked Jesus into his heart. And I think somebody sold him an easy way, a way without sacrifice. And I don't know if he really understood all he was talking about. Okay, anyways, moving along with that. One of my favorite quotes in the Bible is from a guy named David. Now, David had committed this pretty bad sin. And God was pretty angry with him, and He sends this plague to Israel. David was the king of Israel, and as a punishment, God sent kind of this plague, and a lot of people in His kingdom were dying. And anyway, the way this plague is moving across these cities, and David goes out to this field, and it's kind of hard to explain, but the plague is kind of moving along. I don't know if there was a black cloud over where the plague was, or if it was just kind of moving from city to city. And David says, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out in front of where the plague is. I'm going to make a sacrifice to God. And I know that God will hear my prayer and He'll stop the plague. Okay? Now, I'm telling the story really briefly because I just want to make a point. It's really the quote that's really just cool. Anyway, he goes this place. There's a guy that owns the field, and he says, I need to make a sacrifice to God before the plague gets here so that it'll stop here. And the guy says, here, take my cattle, take my field, go do it. And David says this awesome quote to him. He says this. He says, no, I insist on buying it for full price. I will not take what is yours and give it to the Lord. I will not present burnt offerings that have cost me nothing. And that's why David is remembered as a man after God's own heart. Because even when he sinned, he knew he could never give God something cheap. He always had to give God his best. And he would never take something and say, here, God, here's a sacrifice to you when someone else had given it to him. He knew if he was going to give it to God, it needed to cost him something. It needed to be a sacrifice. And that's the only way he could show God that he was truly repentant of what he did. And you know what? I was thinking of this, and just imagine this, if on the day that I asked Sarah to marry me, I went out to, maybe say Walmart, and I walked by, I was gonna go to a jewelry store later that day, but I walked by, and at Walmart there was this like cool little red little dispenser thing out front, and there were rings in it.
Oh my God.
For 25 cents. You can get a ring, you know, or a tattoo, but I figured, you know, for 25 cents I could take a chance. I might get the ring. I don't have to, I mean, rings are expensive, especially ones with diamonds in it. It's just a ring anyway. So anyway, I put my quarter in, and lo and behold, this ring comes out, and I'm like, sweet, I just saved myself, you know, some buku bucks on this. So later that night, I go to her with my plastic Walmart ring. Now, just for a humor's sake, put yourself in that situation, in her situation, and the question comes, will you marry me? And that's the ring. What is going through your head at the time?
Well, he really cares.
For sure.
He's cheating. What's that?
He really cares.
He really cares, yeah?
I would have no words.
I know, you wouldn't be like, is this a joke? I mean, could anybody honestly do that?
Maybe like,
Unless you're like a hobo.
What's that?
you can grab it
Yeah. Broke it and give it back, yeah. Okay, so what if that actually did happen? What would that say, and I was doing that in all seriousness, what would that communicate to her?
Either you're
She's not valuable.
worth very much,
Either I'm crazy or what?
or I'm not worth very much.
Yeah, yeah. Anyone else, what would that communicate? How would you like to, as a girl that's got engaged, show off when people say, can I see your ring? And be like, how could
That she's not worth the money.
Would you be embarrassed? I mean, just try to imagine that. Would you be embarrassed if, like, this is the ring that
I would probably
Yeah,
give it off.
because everybody has like those expensive ones, like.
You would go buy
You know, in reality, she probably would have postponed things and been like, I'm going to probably rethink this. I was really getting a different picture of you until this point. But just imagine this. Yep.
What if they said like, I dropped the ring in the lake, and then so like, on the way here I stopped by and got it.
Well, that would be, there would be, obviously, there's a heart behind it. There's obviously, I'm going to replace the ring. But this is what I got you. Yes. Go ahead, Kelsey, go ahead, Kelsey.
Like, what if it was a test to see if she actually liked it?
It could have been, but we're going to say that was actually the ring I got her. And that was what you know, why would I spend that money on? It's just a ring. She might lose it, you know? I mean, the girl can lose things, you know? I mean, I don't want to, you know, risk money that way, you know? Yeah?
I said if I wonder if she was like really lucky, she would accept you no matter what. So, like, she really accepted you.
Okay, I get that. Isaac, wait, hold on here. Isaac said something really good. If Sarah really loved me, she would accept the ring no matter what. But, you know, and if I was a poor guy and couldn't afford anything, I would hope that that's what somebody's attitude would be. But if I could afford a nice ring or even a decent ring, I didn't go crazy for her because even she didn't want it. There's no reason to spend $6,000 or $7,000 on a ring. She wouldn't have wanted a ring that much.
Save that for a wedding.
What's that?
Save that for the wedding.
Like the honeymoon, you mean? Or the wedding, the money for the wedding?
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. But anyway, but if I could afford a decent ring, but just was too cheap or to even get her even a decent ring, wouldn't that communicate something? I mean, yes, hopefully she would love me, not the ring, but wouldn't that still communicate something? That was a little cheap. Yeah?
That you did not sacrifice you didn't sacrifice enough to respect her.
Right. I didn't sacrifice enough to respect her. Now just think about this. We don't give to God a ring. But what we give Him ultimately is how we live our lives. If we live our lives really lazily and carefree for Him, it's kind of like Him wearing a plastic ring. And if people say, "Oh, is that what your whatever lover gave you?" Gave you a plastic ring. When we can do better than that, what does that communicate? It's kind of a thought. All right, I want to keep moving. I had a few other good thoughts. I don't know if we're going to do small groups tonight because I've incorporated a lot of questions into the lesson. Okay, listen to this story. Oh yeah. Right, okay. Listen to the story. Mark 12, 41 through 44. Jesus sat down near the collection box in the temple and watched as the crowds dropped in their money. Many rich people put in large amounts. Then a poor widow came and dropped in 2 small coins. And Jesus said to his disciples, called his disciples to him and said, I tell you the truth, this woman has given more than all the others who were making contributions, for they gave a tiny part of their surplus. But she, poor as she is, has given everything she had to live on. Now, just going to ask you this. When you hear this story, what do you think Jesus is trying to say here? Yeah?
He loves people who give them respect and give them what's called a hand.
Right.
What's in their heart and not just throwing it, but just throwing whatever.
Yeah. I like that. You said respect. And by doing this, even though she could only give coins, she was doing the best she could. She was showing respect to God, where the other people, even though they had a lot more, were just being cheap with God. That's good. That's really good. That's really insightful. Yeah, Alex? Okay. We can show our love by sacrificing, yeah?
It seems to me like this is another point he makes, or this is more about the heart than about the actions.
It's more about the heart than the actions. Or I would say that about the amount. Because the actions come from the heart. So it's more about the heart than the amount given. Okay? Yeah?
So more just showing off with their money. I mean, they're not even giving, because her decision was really hard. She had to give her sacrifice, but their money was nothing to them.
Yep. It'd be kind of like if somebody came, one night, and they were say we had a really rich kid here, and he would come every night. It'd be kind of funny if somebody did this, because I think we'd probably all laugh a little bit. But he'd bring a bunch of silver dollars and would stand in the corner, dropping them one in at a time, and kind of looking around.
Maybe okay, can I put a couple in there? So
Yeah, I'm not done yet. Why don't you come back? I got about 10 more minutes here. And then one of us comes in, and it's like, only have just, a few coins, but it's the best we could do this week, and kind of when no one's looking, just drops them in. And Jesus all of a sudden saying, you know what? The second person was the one that gave the most. Now think about this. Did somebody have anything they wanted to add to that? Yeah.
Like, if the woman, did make a lot of money and stuff, and then she only had, 5 coins or something, and she did 2, maybe, the rest of, her kids, and she gave, all her spare money.
That's still quite a bit. If she's given 2 out of 5, that's like 20% still. Yeah. Yeah, that's still pretty big sacrifice. Shauna, do you have something you want to add?
I was going to say she gave everything. And
Yeah. She gave everything, and they gave just a little bit. Now, think about this for a minute. Now, for me, if I was collecting money, say I had a project I was doing, and some rich, snotty person came and they put in a few $100 and did it really snottily, acting all bad or whatever, and then the next person came and the best they could do was just a couple dollars, it was all they have. Personally, for me, I'd say thank you for both of them, but I'd be really happy the first person came anyway. Because it was more money. I'm going to be able to accomplish more with that money. Now I'm thinking, do you think God really would have a bunch of people that could only give pennies rather than a few people that could give hundreds and thousands of dollars? Do you think God really feels that the pennies is more? Do you think so?
Yeah.
why is he doing it?
Yeah, I was going to say, why would you care?
As long as you're contributing, do you think that he'd like that?
What's that?
That's not what you
No. God? You're talking about God?
Yeah.
Or... Yeah, no, that's what I'm asking. What I'm saying is, for me, I'd kind of like to have the big giver, but God's saying, no, I will take the little givers.
The meaning of it is more,
Yes.
because...
Why do you think God doesn't want a few big givers too?
Because money doesn't matter to him, and the meaning of the giving is more.
But it means matters to us.
Okay, wait a minute here. Money doesn't matter to God. What does matter?
The purpose, the why you gave it.
Yep, the purpose why he gave it, the heart would be a way to kind of sum all that up. So, however, for us then, can we then just say, well, then I just give my heart to God and I'm going to keep my money then? Can we do that then? Because the money doesn't matter, right?
If you have no heart, there's no point in keeping your money.
Okay.
Maybe he just likes you give something that he knows that you want.
Yep. So can we, if the money ultimately, it's not the money that matters, it's the heart, how then do we show that our heart is God's?
By giving the money away.
Yeah, but you see,
And with what attitude?
Happy.
Yeah, interesting. We're going to be wrestling with these questions because we're going to be talking about faith versus works, earning God's salvation and all this. It's not about the heart, but so many people then take it, oh, if it's not about the money, it's about the heart. Well then, hey, I love God and I'm keeping my money.
But if you give your heart to God, that means you're giving your money to God.
Yeah, okay, that's good. These are good to wrestle with. Yes?
Once it starts to hurt, then it counts.
Then it counts. All right, that's a good way to put it. Okay, let's see if okay. Okay, one other parable here to look at. Matthew 13:44-46 says, the kingdom of heaven is like a treasure that a man discovered hidden in a field. In his excitement, gentlemen, in his excitement, he hid it again and sold everything, there's that word again, he owned to get enough money to buy the field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant on the lookout for 2 choice pearls. When he discovered a pearl of great value, he sold everything he owned and bought it. Now, 2 stories, they seem very similar, but they both make 2 different points. In the first part, the very first one there, what is the kingdom of heaven compared to? The kingdom of heaven is compared to treasure. Okay, what did the man have to do to obtain the treasure? So who would the man ultimately be then? Us, absolutely. What did the man have to do to get the treasure? Sell everything to buy it, okay? And actually, he didn't buy the treasure, he bought the field where the treasure was found in. I think, I'll get to that later, real soon here, I'm going to make a point about that. Okay, and then the final question, so if he sold everything to get it, is that your attitude towards God? You don't have to answer, because the correct answer is yes, but but yeah, sometimes, as I was thinking that this way, it's like, ooh, don't ask that question, I don't want to answer that.
I can only feel things. Like, you can't just get the treasure, you have to get everything that it's included with.
Like, you can't just, like, get a part on it.
Well, like, the treasure would be getting into heaven, but you have to have everything that goes with it in order to get it.
It could be. I'm going to make a thought on it. I'm just going to give you a thought, but I think that's a great thought you had there too. In the second part, I want to get through this part here. In the second part, what is the kingdom of heaven compared to? Now, in the second part, it's different. It's not the treasure. It is what? It's the merchant going out and buying. Okay, what then does this pearl of great value represent in the second story? All of a sudden now, we're the treasure. We're the pearl. Okay? So, what did God have to do to get us? Or, I'm sorry, in the story, what did the man have to do to get the pearl?
Sell everything.
Sell everything. Now, if our price had been $1 billion, would that really have costed God anything? $1 billion, bling, here you go. $2 billion, bling, here. I mean, what could God? Yeah, that's all. The only thing that actually could have been a sacrifice to God was His very own Son. That's the only thing that could actually actually hurt God to part with. Because everything else, He can just create more of it. More angels, here you go. More worlds, here you go. But His Son was only one, just like Him. And He gave His Son. The cool thing to sit in, God sacrificed everything. He gave the one thing that would actually cost Him something for us. Very cool. Yes?
Well, what if He's God and just create another Son? No.
That gets into a pretty deep question.
I don't think you can.
It's not really, Jesus is not a creation though. Lexi, I want you to get this. Jesus is not a creation. He is as much God as God the Father is. Why they're referred to Father and Son, I don't as much know, but Jesus had no beginning and had no end, just like His Father. God is one, but three. Okay? So He couldn't just create, it'd be like creating Himself again, and He can't, really do that because He is the Creator. No one created Him. Deep theological, I don't want to get there. I have a couple things left to get to. Yeah, did you want to?
I was reading about this in a book by C.S. Lewis just today.
Be very brief.
Basically, when you think about having multiple things, like multiple sons, somehow they have to be different. And why would you want God to be different? And also, when you're imagining things to be different, imagine separate things within space. But God is beyond space. So,
I'm sure you're right. Okay, I have a few more things I want to get to if I can bring your attention back in here. Like I said, I wasn't going to do small groups. I didn't know if Hannah was going to be here tonight, so I decided to incorporate all the small group time into the lesson. I just want to finish this. So if you give me about 5 more minutes, we'll get right through this. We'll finish the worship. Okay, now, I want this in setting up the good news. We're going to spend a few weeks in the good news, and it's going to be good. It's going to be good news. I like it. Okay? I'm enjoying it. But I want you to say this. If salvation is such a great thing, so valuable. Guys, it's probably going to require us the sacrifice of everything to obtain it. Now, there's one point I want to make tonight, and we're going to build off this over the next few weeks. Making a sacrifice for something is not the same thing as earning something. And if you give me just a few minutes to develop this point, I want you to get this, because that's what we can make. Hey, if I laid down my life, if I sacrifice, then I deserve some things from God. But sacrificing for something is not the same thing as earning something. I'm going to make a few statements here to explain this. Now, there are some things. Say this. I was going to save up for a car, so I got a summer job, right? So I sacrifice my time. That means I can't go out and play with my friends all the time. I can't spend as much time on the Xbox or whatever. I have to sacrifice my time. I have to work hard and sweat in the hot sun. So I sacrificed and I worked. At the end of the summer, I get a paycheck and I'm able to buy the car. 1, did I sacrifice for it?
Yeah.
2, did I earn it?
Yeah.
Did. It was hard work. I sacrificed, but I also earned it. I gave the man the work. He paid me a fair wage. I paid for the car. The dealer got his money. I got my car. I earned it. Okay, so you can sacrifice and earn for some things. Okay, second thing. It is also possible to to earn something without sacrificing for it. And I'm just going to make it a kind of a funny example here, but just say I entered a basketball tournament. Say all of us did right here. The 5 of us dudes. And we entered this tournament because we like basketball and we want to win, and it turns out every other team that entered was 5th grade girls. And they had been practicing. I mean, these 5th grade girls have been playing together for the last 13 years.
Oh, so they're really good.
They've been practicing for a year. They've been working on their team skills. And we haven't done anything. We haven't sacrificed anything. We just showed up the day of, and on the tournament, we won the tournament. Hands down. Just blew every single team away. Did we sacrifice for the trophy? But did we earn it? Yeah, we entered the tournament and won the games. Okay? So it is possible. Or somebody, hey, here's another one. When I was younger, my grandma would have me over to do some work for her, and I'd work for maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and then she'd give me 20 bucks. Now, for a little kid, that's some pretty high pay for not a lot of sacrifice. So did I earn it? Yeah, I did what my grandma asked, but I didn't really have to sacrifice much for it. So sometimes in life, we can earn things without sacrificing. Okay, last one, if I can have your attention, just a couple more minutes. Here's the one we need to get. You've got to get this so we understand the good news. Coming up. However, it is possible to sacrifice a ton for something and never be able to earn it. And I'm going to use the example of marriage here because marriage is the most perfect example of this. For Sarah, I sacrificed. I spent money on the ring. I calculated the rest of my life and decided I was willing to give up my singleness. For her and her alone, I decided to forsake all others, not just most others, but all others for her. And I decided that through sickness and health, and even maybe some little ones in the future, I would share my income, and I would give that, I would promise that to her to never leave her. I sacrificed for her, but I could never earn her love. It was hers to give to whoever she wanted to. I could never have bought it. Did I buy her love? No. And the same is true for her. She didn't buy mine. I could have given it to her or not. I could have never earned it. She gave it as a free gift, but did I sacrifice for it? Am I paying for it? Well, paying probably isn't the correct word, but I'm sacrificing. It cost me a ton, but I never earned it. I can never start treating her, well, look, I got you the ring, I promised you my life, so do them dishes, girl. You know? I bought this. You know? I'll never own her. I will never own her. I never earned her, but I sacrificed for her. Does that make sense, guys? We've got to get this for the gospel because a lot of people treat this salvation that Jesus gives very cheaply. And I don't think it's something that can be treated cheaply. All right. Closing thoughts. I think this is really good. What if I gave you, and I'm going to use 2 different items what if, say, I gave you, this is a Lotus, one of my favorite cars, or an iPod. We'll just pretend this is an iPod for now. It's not. We'll pretend it is. Just say, you can pick which either one you want. Say I gave you a brand new Lotus or a brand new iPod. And I told you this, here you go. It's your car. It's your iPod. A week from now, however, I'm taking it and I'm giving it to someone else. and you will be responsible to pay for all damages and repairs. You will be responsible. Now, just say it's a $70,000 car. Honestly, I don't know. I don't think Lotus is money. I don't think Lotuses are even that much. Just say this. No, this is the deal. It's yours for a week, but in a week it's not yours, and you have to pay to get it back into mint condition, whatever it is. I mean, no scratches on the. If somebody I know, if you take it out to like Target and somebody opens their door and bang things into it, just to fix a paint job in a car like this, probably a few $1,000s. Reality.
Park it sideways, like in between two cars.
Would you even drive it if you had it for a week and we're going to have to see, like my car, I have a ton of dings in it, but I don't have to fix them if I don't want to, and I don't, because I'm not going to pay a few $1,000s to have my car repainted. It's not even worth that much. But would you even take out this car knowing that it's not going to be yours in a week and there's a chance you could spend a few $1,000s to fix it? Yeah. Would you even take it out? You take the risk?
Yeah.
You take the risk.
I'm driving to Mexico now.
Oh. Okay, any damages though done, you're paying for them. New iPod. Yep.
I can just wear those little plastic gloves and poke at the screen.
You could. New iPod.
Sure. If you can find them in Mexico.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're just saying that it was God that's watching and he'll let us know. Okay, new iPod. New iPod, phone, whatever. Would you, if you knew that you had this for a week, would you even bother taking the time to download your playlist and organize your songs and your playlist, put on new apps? Would you even bother using it for a week?
No.
What?
I'd put a bunch of like really boring games on it.
Yeah.
Bad music.
Yeah. Well, it's easy to reset the whole thing, so it wouldn't be.
No, but they'd be like, oh.
Personally, yes. Serious thought?
Okay, did you know that in 1 year alone, $5.8 billion was spent on iPhone repairs?
Crazy. That's a lot. Okay, here's the deal. I'll be honest with you. If somebody gave me a new iPod and said, hey, it's yours for a week, I would do this with it. And I would not even bother with it. I'm not going to use an iPod for a week. I'm not going to invest the time getting all the stuff into it and organizing it. I mean, it takes a while. And I wouldn't even, if they gave me the car, I would probably say, hey, you know what, just keep it. I'm not going to risk, I wouldn't risk doing damage to the paint if it just wouldn't be worth it.
I'd like to get a date.
I'm gonna get on. I'm gonna move on to it. Now, some of you may beg to differ. That's fine. But here's this. This is my last point I want to make tonight.
If someone gave me a muscle car,
Yep.
I would just stare at it for a week.
Okay. Maybe you'd like to look at it. You know, I probably would do that too. I'd probably maybe sit in it a couple times. But that would be it.
I'd be like, pretend to drive.
Shh. Okay. Just want to make a point. Just saying here. Like I said, what I would do, I'd put it to the side because is it really yours anyway?
No.
Now, question here. Knowing that you are eventually going to die, you're going to lose your life, is your life really yours in the first place? And I was talking to Sarah, I don't know, it was last night, and all of a sudden I was like, this is just, this iPod thing, this illustration, it works so well. If I had the iPod for a week, like I said, I'd put it aside and do nothing with it. Yep.
Your life is a lot longer than a week.
Okay.
For some.
No, listen to this. That's a very good point. But knowing that our life and then we live for eternity, and actually, you know what? That is a great point. What the Bible actually says about our life in James 4:14. Look at this morning fog. It's here a little while, and then it's gone. Now, in reality, yes, 70 years, 80 years, some of us will live longer, some of us maybe won't, though. None of us know what's going to happen tomorrow or tonight. 70 years, and then the Bible says we live forever, ever, in one or two places. In one place, but you have two different options. So when we look back on our life here, that 70 years is going to seem like nothing. It seems like a long time right now. But knowing this, knowing that there's a little bit of time on earth and then there's forever, your life, you're going to lose it anyway. Jesus actually tells us to just do this with it, set it down, and follow him. And this is so cool. I think, when I was actually just sharing the illustration with Sarah last night, I was like, oh, that's exactly it. I would lay that down, and that's exactly what Jesus is asking me to do with my life right here. If you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it, because we're all going to lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake, and then I was like, oh, this verse is perfect! And for the sake of the good news, you will save it. Right out of the New Living Translation, I was like, wow, it's like God, you're so smart, you were thinking what I was thinking. You know? Oh yeah, that's right. Wow, I'm so smart. I was thinking what God was thinking. Awesome. I thought it worked. And Sarah can even witness. I was like, oh, and he even says the good news. Like, what a perfect thought. First views, yes.
There's even a song that has those exact words, like if you try to find yourself, your life, and then you lose it. There's a song like on the Wow Bit CD.
Okay.
That's like it targets that like exactly.
You should point it out to me later. I'd like to point it out to me later. I'd like to hear it. Okay. How cool is this? If you try to hang on your life, you lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake, for the good news, you will find it. And knowing that, if you treat your life like that iPod, knowing you're going to lose it, maybe it's like, you know what? Let's not worry about that. Let's worry about eternity. And that's exactly what God's asking us to do. Put your life to the side and follow me. And it will be much better for you and everyone else in the long run. That's kind of summing up what the good news is going to be about. One of my favorite quotes, for those of you who have been around a while have heard it, but if you haven't, it's by, Jim Elliot. He was a missionary to Central America. He says, "He is no fool who gives what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose." In other words, you give your life, because you can't keep your life anyway, to gain eternal life, which you can never